From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Tuesday, January 12th. A much better day will be in store for us today with skies mostly sunny. It's going to be great to see that sunshine, a lot more sun, and winds coming out of the southwest will get our temperatures up there. We're going to launch into the low 40s. And tonight the House will vote on a resolution urging Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment after the violence on Capitol Hill. If that fails, the House will move to impeachment. Now, behind the scenes today, there will be a massive effort as the Democrats figure out if they have enough votes. There is word this morning that Vice President Mike Pence met with President Trump in the Oval Office. CNN reports that the two reflected on the last 4 years and pledged to continue to work on behalf of the country for the remainder of their term, a time period that is critical. Yesterday, Republicans blocked a resolution urging Vice President Mike Pence to invoke that 25th Amendment. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said some Democrats would bring the resolution to the full floor for a vote tonight. The next big step comes tomorrow, Wednesday, when impeachment proceedings are set if Pence does not invoke that 25th Amendment. GOP leader Kevin McCarthy sent a letter to his Republican colleagues saying he is opposed to impeachment and instead offered other options, including censure and committees to investigate last week's attack and to boost voter confidence. But for some on both sides, that's not enough. First, hear from Michigan Republican Representative Peter Meijer, then from Democratic Massachusetts Representative Catherine Clark.
I prefer that we have a more fulsome investigation into what happened. Most of what I know about January 6th came either from personal experience or from Twitter. But at the end of the day, I think it is obvious that the president is no longer qualified to hold that office.
I hope over the next days there will be some deep soul searching, because this is the call of history.
Trump is to face a single charge, incitement of insurrection. Again, that vote is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, January 13th, 1 week after the riot at the Capitol. The FBI is warning about armed protests planned for all 50 state capitals and at the U.S. Capitol between now and Inauguration Day. The FBI says agents will focus on identifying and investigating individuals inciting violence and engaging in criminal activity. According to an internal bulletin, as of Sunday, the nationwide protests may start later this week and extend through January 20th. President-elect Joe Biden says he is not afraid to take the oath of office in front of the Capitol building next Wednesday. This comes as the Pentagon announced yesterday it's deployed up to 15,000 members of the National Guard to support local law enforcement. The activation is part of President Trump's emergency declaration, which is in effect through January 24th. Washington, D.C.'s mayor is urging people to stay away from the inauguration. Police say there will be no public access to the Capitol. The Transportation Security Administration says it's adding more security to 3 airports in Washington, D.C. leading up to Inauguration Day. The agency says there will be more enforcement and police dogs at the airports. According to the TSA, this is in a response to the threats of violence ahead of next week and last week's events there at the Capitol. And 2 officers with the U.S. Capitol Police are suspended for not following procedure during last week's insurrection. Federal investigators are still looking at video to find other violations. Representative Tim Ryan says one of the officers took a selfie with a member of the mob and another directed people around the building while wearing a Make America Great Again hat. According to Capitol Police, as many as 17 other officers are under investigation. Another member of President Trump's cabinet has resigned. Chad Wolf is stepping down as the acting Secretary of Homeland Security. He announced the decision in a letter to the department yesterday, saying he was saddened to take this step. A number of administration officials have left their posts in the wake of the Capitol riots. Wolf says FEMA Administrator Pete Gaynor will be the acting secretary now. Education Secretary, as I told you on the podcast last week, Betsy DeVos, and Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao have also resigned. Okay, Parler is suing Amazon. Have you heard of Parler? It's to get back on the online giant's web hosting service. Amazon booted the app on Monday, citing an inability to control content that promotes violence. Parler's suit claims breach of contract and antitrust violations. Downloads of Parler rose dramatically in the days after social media sites banned President Trump from their platforms. And Twitter has banned more than 70,000 accounts linked to QAnon conspiracy theories. QAnon is a far-right extremist group known to spread theories about politicians and celebrities who they say are working with the government to sexually abuse children. And they also say that 5G cell towers spread COVID-19. Now, none of the group's theories has ever been proven. Twitter says QAnon's messages violate its terms of service because they can spread violence. Indianapolis-based Eli Lilly and Company is joining a list of big corporate names that are suspending political donations in response to the Capitol riots. Lilly announced it will not support those who voted against certification of the 2020 election results. That includes Representatives Jim Banks, Jackie Walorski, Greg Pence, and Jim Baird here in Indiana. As far as how much Lilly gave each of these lawmakers last election, Banks and Walorski each got $10,000. Pence received $5,000. Lilly donated $1,000 to Baird. And one of the Capitol police officers who died after responding to the riots was a Purdue graduate. According to the university, Howard Liebengood graduated in 1991 with a bachelor's degree in history. Capitol Police say Liebengood died by suicide on Saturday. He'd been with Capitol Police since 2005. Indiana Republican Senator Todd Young says he is saddened by Liebengood's death, tweeting he was a Purdue graduate, an avid auto racing and Indy 500 fan, and a friend to all who knew him. Today, President Trump will visit the border wall in Texas. The White House says he'll visit the completed portion of the wall in Alamo. This trip is the only event on the president's official calendar this week. A White House official says President Trump also plans to release a list of pardons and issue executive orders. All right, back to central Indiana. A mass vaccination site is planned in Fishers. We do not know when it will open yet. The city's health department will announce more details in a press conference later this morning. But we do know the location. The site will operate at the former Marsh Supermarket at 116th Street and Brooks School Road. The health department says masks and social distancing will be required on site when you're getting vaccinated. Now, health officials in Marion County call the first day of vaccinating people 80 and older a success. They say people who are in their 70s should now find out this week when they can schedule an appointment. The Marion County Health Department says the goal is to vaccinate 1,500 people by the end of the week. Officials say a lot of unknowns can interfere with planning.
We weren't sure exactly when we would be getting vaccine, how much would we be getting, and then what priority groups will be getting it first.
The Marion County Health Department expressed that these vaccinations will hopefully give recipients a sense of freedom back. There is concern this morning after state health officials announced that the COVID-19 variant has been spotted in Indiana. Officials say the strain was found through testing at the Department of Health labs and the CDC. The variant was first detected in the UK. 8 other states have detected the strain as well, which is more contagious. State Health Commissioner Chris Bach says the discovery means that it's even more important than ever for Hoosiers to continue wearing masks and to practice that physical social distancing. The only woman on the federal government's death row will not be executed today. Lisa Montgomery was scheduled to die by lethal injection. An Indiana federal judge granted her a stay. The judge wrote in his order that the stay will allow the court to conduct a hearing to determine Miss Montgomery's competence to be executed. Montgomery was sentenced to death in 2008 by a Missouri jury for the 2004 murder of a pregnant woman for then removing the fetus out and kidnapping it. The baby survived. Her attorney says that as the court found, Montgomery has brain damage and severe mental illness that was exacerbated by the lifetime of sexual torture she suffered at the hands of caretakers. A date for the competency hearing hasn't been set. New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick will not accept the Medal of Freedom from President Trump. The coach released a statement last night. He wrote in part, "The tragic events of last week occurred and the decision has been made not to move forward with the award." Belichick went on to say, "Remaining true to the people, team, and country I love outweigh the benefits of any individual award." The rejection comes 4 years after Belichick told reporters in reference to Trump that, quote, "Our friendship goes back many years." The man responsible for a hidden holiday tradition in Indianapolis has died. Many people did not know him, but they knew his work. For decades, Doug Hornberger placed the cherub that sits atop the Ayers clock at Meridian in Washington during the holidays. News 8's Dan Klein explains what happened and what Hornberger's wife hopes will happen next.
Year after year, it's always a story. The bronze cherub on the old Ellis Ayers clock is back, a sure sign that Christmas is coming. Few knew who had done the heavy lifting, but for 30 years, it was Doug Hornberger.
So he loved being a part of it. it was special because he felt special that he was a part of the magic of the season.
A carpenter by trade, this year the 54-year-old was going to retire professionally and step down from his volunteer gig too. Instead, Christmas Eve, when taking the cherub down, somehow Hornberger fell, dropping 30 feet, breaking his spine, ribs, and resulting in a brain injury. After weeks of holding on, he passed away early Sunday morning.
I'm going to miss him terribly, and our family's going to miss him terribly. He'll always be a part of our heart.
Jenny married him 31 years ago, the year before it all began.
We just took great pride in that he was a part of the city and part of the Circle of Lights.
Jenny isn't even sure how he got involved, likely connected to when he was helping build Circle Center Mall. The guardian of the cherub for the rest of the year has been Downtown Indy Inc. for at least the last 25 years.
Doug was an unsung hero for our community, and we're so saddened by this.
Every year, Doug would skip out of his family's Christmas Eve party to bring the cherub down under cover of darkness before coming home to help Jenny put the gifts around the tree. It should be no surprise for someone so connected to an Indy holiday tradition. He liked to make Christmas a big deal and always bought a few extra gifts for their 3 kids. But it was his gift of time to the city which means so much to longtime residents.
He certainly has been a true hero, behind the scenes, a champion. There's so many people like this in our community who step up, who find a way to contribute without ever getting recognized. This has been Doug.
It's still raw and fresh for the Hornberger family. But next year, they want the cherub back in its familiar place.
I hope they find someone that does just as good a job as he did.
With restoration work on the clock, the cherub is now being stored by the Indiana Landmarks nonprofit organization. If you'd like to learn more about Doug Hornberger, just click on this story at wishtv.com. Indianapolis city officials are ordering a homeless camp near Monument Circle to close today. It's part of an effort to clean up the city before it hosts the NCAA men's basketball tournament. IMPD says it's moving the homeless off the streets in the name of public safety. The city's used millions of federal dollars to move some people into hotels, but others are still on the streets. Here's what IMPD's homeless unit tells iTeam8.
The goal is permanent and supportive housing solutions for our homeless community. Just like everything else, we don't want to simply displace. We want to provide long-term, sustainable solutions for our homeless community.
IMPD says from a public safety standpoint, hosting the entire men's basketball tournament is a bigger challenge than the Super Bowl or the Indy 500. All right, to business headlines now. An experimental Alzheimer's drug from Eli Lilly helped patients in a small trial. Lilly says the drug slowed the decline in memory and ability to perform activities of daily living by 32% after 18 months among people who received the therapy compared with those who got a placebo. Lilly shares soared on the news. Moderna has already begun a study testing the vaccine in adolescents as young as 12, the COVID-19 vaccine we're talking about. And CEO Stefan Bancel expects that study will be done by the time the fall semester starts in September. It expects to start a study for young children between 1 and 11 years old soon, but Bancel said that the study will take much longer. Moderna's vaccine has been authorized by the Food and Drug Administration for use in people who are 18 years old and older. Chipotle is going on a hiring spree. It's holding a nationwide hiring event Thursday in an effort to fill 15,000 roles as it expands operations. During Chipotle's Coast to Coast Career Day, participating restaurants across the country will interview interested applicants while adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols. The Consumer Electronics Show is underway. Samsung is among the giants introducing new products. It unveiled a custom refrigerator with color-changing doors and artificial intelligence-controlled ice maker. Ben & Jerry's has developed frozen dog treats called Doggy Desserts, which will be sold at grocery and pet stores. The ice cream maker began developing the dog-friendly sweets early last year, but the coronavirus pandemic has expanded their customer base as more Americans adopt and foster parents. The two flavors, one is a peanut butter pretzel and the other is a pumpkin and cookie ice cream. Both sound pretty good, but apparently it is best purchased for your pooches. Another championship for Alabama's football team. To sports news now, the Big Ten's Ohio State was no match for the SEC's Crimson Tide. Ohio State fell 52-24 in last night's college football national championship. Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith earned the game's award for Offensive Most Valuable Player. This is Coach Nick Saban's 6th national title since joining Alabama in 2007 and 7th overall. According to the NCAA, he now has the most national championships of any coach in college football history. As far as the final AP Top 25 college football rankings, Alabama sits in the top spot. Ohio State is in 3rd behind Clemson, despite beating them in the semifinal game. Notre Dame comes in at number 5. IU finished 12th after losing its bowl game to Ole Miss. Ball State sits at 23. The Miami College Football Committee will host a virtual handoff of the event to the Indianapolis College Football Playoff Host Committee. Indianapolis is set to host the 2022 College Football Playoff. The committee is also expected to make several one-year-out announcements for the game, which will be played at Lucas Oil. To the Pacers, the team started a West Coast stretch last night with a loss to the Sacramento Kings. It was back and forth all game. In the fourth quarter, Domantas Sabonis had a basket taken away following a lengthy replay review, which was called a good block instead of goaltending. Then after that play, the Kings hit a 3, putting the Pacers out of reach. Pacers fall 127-122. The Blue and Gold play again tonight. They'll face the Golden State Warriors. A new car may give a view of the future of the Indy 500. Indianapolis Motor Speedway wheeled it out on Monday. It's a self-driving version of the Dallara that races in the Indy Lights Series. IMS says it'll host the first ever head-to-head high-speed autonomous race. College students from around the world are set to be there October 23rd. Promoters are promising a $1 million prize. The goal is 20 laps in less than 25 minutes. Okay, and just a last second note here. The Mega Millions prize is still growing. Right now, the jackpot for tonight's drawing is $615 million. If someone was to take the cash option there, they would take home $451.8 million. Holy smokes. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.